Hey, what's up? This is crazy. We're together.
It is.
And we wore gloves. Wondering what color we're gonna wear today.
That's how we've always done it.
That's so crazy.
Okay.
All right, we are doing it. So we have right now. Well, happy Sunday, right? Officially, happy Sunday. You are here with Serene Stevens, early childhood leadership coach of My Sweet Pea and Me, and my special guest over here.
And see, I'm a special guest on yours, but you're a special guest on mine.
That's right.
Home on them. Hey, Deandra, and my name is Aniqua. I am the artist, the designer behind My Kind of Thing, a handmade company that specializes in one-of-a-kind handmade dolls, particularly of dolls of color, and even more specifically, little black girls.
That's right. And so we are broadcasting from 3 different things right now. So you'll see us kind of looking in different places to make sure that we are catching it all. For you who don't know, this is family to me. You can probably see the resemblance.
Yes.
Right? But this is family to me. But aside from the fact that we've been by each other's side since day one,
Birth.
like for real, we also have ventured into bigger things in life. And for the first time, even though I've been broadcasting for over a year now, this is my first time getting her.
Second time you've done
That's
it.
right.
Because we did a Periscope on
Periscope when I first started. That's right. That's right. It was like one of my first ones. You
Yeah,
helped me to get on. It was my first one.
So look, basically, the reality of it is that we were raised together. Our mothers are sisters, so we're actually cousins, first cousins. And we were kind of raised like sisters because we've always been that close. We both went into early childhood education.
Yeah.
Serene Stevens has her master's in early childhood education and will soon be getting her PhD.
Absolutely.
And we also have worked together. I became an actual teacher, and I worked under her as one of her teachers.
That's
at one
right.
point as well. So we have a huge history, both personal and professional. And one of the conversations that we always have is the importance of positive imagery.
Absolutely. So for My Sweet Pea and Me viewers, last week I spoke a little bit about positive imagery and or imagery period, and the power that image has on early childhood aged children. And for those of you on Aniqua's My Kind of Thing, I am on My Sweet Pea and Me on YouTube, and on Facebook it's 123 Sweet Pea Me. And so I talk every Sunday. I have a broadcast, and it's on different topics, early childhood related, and it's geared towards parents or early childhood educators. The point of me bringing it's so weird for me to call you Aniqua, and I know your viewers. I can't do it. I can't. I just.
So
I'm like,
she doesn't call me Aniqua.
I don't do that.
Her family at home, they don't call me Aniqua. So
I just can't. So y'all gonna learn something new today if y'all didn't know her viewers. Like y'all.
She's gonna say Janae. Just know when she says Janae, she's talking about me.
Right. So I can't do it. I called her Aniqua like twice in life.
And it's gross. It's weird for me. I'm like, chill out. Don't do it.
So it's like, huh? I know. See?
So
this is what happens when family gets on together, right? So one of the things that I brought Janae on here for is because she is the founder, the founder and creator, the visionary, the mastermind behind My Kind of Thing. And I want her to just talk to the viewers over here, my viewers, of what My Kind of Thing is, how it was started, how it became, and its goals. What's the mission?
One of the things that we've been talking about for years, because before this was actually a thing, we are extremely and have been really, really close throughout the years. And one of the things that we've always discussed is our different perspectives on early childhood and the different approaches that we deal with it with. Even though we both went into education, I kind of branched out and went in an artistic direction. And of course, those things they still have that impact on everything you do. When you have something that you're passionate about, it translates into everything you do. So I'm passionate about education, early childhood education in particular. It is the foundation of, your introduction to learning and understanding. And one of my focal points is because I worked in various demographics, I began to notice the differences in how parents interact with their children. in different places, how economic status, and this actually goes into or touches on the sociology background, because I have a degree in sociology. My minor is in education, so my major was sociology,
right,
studying trends and being able to collect data and interpret data and use that data to make better decisions, to make the best possible outcome, the best way to know rather than guess and work through opinion-based things. And my kind of thing was started at a time when we both kind of started on a new journey. 2013.
Yep.
2013, we had like this whole devastating thing occur with both of us, and we just kind of was like, nah, you know what? We're gonna do something a little bit different and better, because what we had been doing, the time had kind of ran out.
That's it.
And so she embarked on the new journey being
I became a director of a school, and we both started our journeys exactly like the same date.
Same date and everything. My kind of thing's anniversary is March 3rd, our grandmother's birthday actually. Yes. March 3rd, 2013. Yeah. I started my kind of thing. She started,
I started a leadership, I started a branched out into the leadership position in early childhood education. And so, and then March 3rd of this year actually made it official, where my Sweet Pea and Me became really the biggest thing that I do.
Her main focus.
My main focus.
So staying in that same vein, so it marked 5 years for my kind of thing, and it marked, the next phase and leadership, early childhood education. But I say all that to say that when I started crocheting and saying, okay, I'm going to do a crochet business, everybody who crochets or knows,
right.
Everybody crochets, right, to some degree. She crochets. We learned to crochet together.
Absolutely.
Right. But in the beginning, I didn't exactly know what I was going to focus on, and it became a situation where your mom and I had a conversation, and her mom, who's extremely Afrocentric and very, very about Black pride and all of that, she was like, you know what, you need to make like a doll. Like it was so matter of factly.
That's so crazy. I didn't even know that.
And I know she said it so as a matter of factly, and I was like, yeah, okay, whatever, because people always tell me what you should make, right? And
we started off doing hats.
We were doing hats, and not for nothing. Hats is my jam.
Right.
But she was like, you should make a doll. And I was like, yeah, I should, because I loved dolls as a kid. And I made my first one with her in mind. Hey, Vonda. I made my first one with her in mind. And I was like, because Auntie Pam likes, red, black, and green. She's very Afrocentric, very, very, power to the people.
My first Eve?
Yep, mitochondrial Eve. That's why she's in red, black, and green. I did
not know that.
So, and this is the crazy thing. There's certain things that it's so many layers to these things. But when I first made her, it was kind of like, okay, I know I wanted the skin to be brown, because I'm brown. Like, why would my first doll that I'm actually legitimately making be anything other than brown? But that's a side note, because there are people that look like me whose first instinct was to create it wasn't a brown doll, which is weird.
Right.
I thought it was weird, but you gotta understand the programming. We're gonna get into that. But I made it, and then I said the hair, I need the hair to be nappy, because I got nappy hair. I know nappy makes people uncomfortable to say it, but I don't know any other word that actually explains what it is when we talk about nap.
Yeah, I mean, I guess some people say kinky.
I ain't mad at it.
Right.
Kinky, I don't really like nappy. My hair's nappy. You really should never ever really use a comb on it, ever since I was a kid. And why we find out now.
That's right.
We don't even use
That's
combs.
Right.
Boom.
I don't use combs.
I'm just saying, like, you don't need them. Stop doing it. I was horrible, right? But anyway, fast forward to actually starting to create dolls and thinking, okay, I want to use this skin tone. I want this hairstyle. And Googling, searching dolls, black dolls, crochet dolls,
right,
and seeing that there weren't any black crochet dolls. Like, there were two people, and I've said this story on multiple occasions. I found two women making black crochet dolls. They were two white women. Recently connected with one of them too,
really?
And had to tell her that she was one of the first people that I saw, and how much I looked at her work and was just so like, oh my God, she's awesome. But finding her and starting to look and say, okay, well, where are Afro puffs?
Right.
Where are braids?
Where are all the styles
that
our hair does? Right.
Where are locks? wear these things. 2013, I promise you, any images you see of black dolls now, fast forward or check the dates on those images.
Right.
Not in 2013. But the bottom line is it became a situation where you kind of start to look, okay, now I got to make some diverse versions of being a little black girl.
Right.
This became really important. And then I started taking orders.
Right.
And that's where it got crazy.
And that's interesting because I actually have backstory about some of your orders, and I thought that was like, you know, when you were going through the process of getting orders, and how when you would ask people to customize, you know, tell them that you would customize them the way that they would like it, how people didn't know, how people did not know what image that they were conflicted about it, or they just didn't know, or they had no imagination about it.
It became really weird because I would get people that would ask for colors that weren't naturally or wouldn't match their child's or person's skin tone. Like I would get people who would send me pictures of dark-skinned children or dark-skinned people, and I started out with 3 shades, and then I bumped it up to 5. I'm now at 18. Well, 24. I'm actually at 24, but 6 of them I keep on the low. But 18 different skin tones. But
are they all shades of brown? Variations of brown?
Variations of brown. And when we say variations of brown, you of course know that peach and tan are in there.
Right.
But the reason why I say shades of brown is mainly because I don't want to forget black girls that are not necessarily brown.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So in order to understand that, and you know, with kids, you also have to explain a little bit more like, oh, this is tan, or this is peach, or this is, you know, and there are attributes that still makes you a black girl, even though it's not necessarily, you know, the usual qualification. But yeah, and that became a situation where I started saying, holy smokes, these people are serious. Like, she legit wants a doll that's light-skinned for her little brown girl, and that's weird to me. Thought it was weird.
Okay.
You know, and so it became a thing. It became so common that I wound up having to have like conversations with people.
So
like
that was going to be my next question and asking you, did you ever then speak to them about it, or did you just fulfill the order and this is how it is?
And you know what, I've always been really vocal about it, and I've had people that have followed me from the very, very beginning will understand it's not really, I mean, because I'm educated and because I have a bunch of skills that will allow me to work when I need to work. It never really became a situation where I was doing anything to get a sale. Oh, this is what she's paying me for, I'm gonna do it. It was never really about that because I always had a plan, and you know, I was able to even move back home to live with my mom so that I can actually really go hard. And it was a conversation. It was usually a conversation.
What did that conversation sound like?
You know what? Surprisingly, you know, because I'm a little hood. She's asking because she's wondering if I approached it well. Or I got hood and I said some drink like, yo,
but on a business stance, on a profession. And listen, I know that her viewers, y'all seen sides of her too, I'm sure. However, I know it's always professional, and so I never would think that you step out of the character of professionalism.
So, what I would say is, you know, I'm looking at the pictures and I noticed she seems a little bit more like this color. How's the lighting for this picture? Where was this picture taken? A lot of times, if the lighting is not natural lighting, you don't necessarily get a true version of what your child's skin tone is. Other thing is, do you have other pictures during different times of the year? I mean, this is, you know, because you know we are. One of the reasons why I had to go all the way up to 24 shades is because even when I look at myself during different times of the year, my skin tone may change depending on what the weather does. So you're usually about 3 shades. And mind you, this is stuff that I've learned because I've had to actually have consultations and have conversations and actually observe even my own nieces and nephews and cousins and things. They were the focus group, always.
Okay.
They were always the focus group. So, you know, at the expense of losing the sale, because I've had some people think it was funny to say some real slick stuff about, you know, dark skin. Like, I've had customers make jokes like it was funny about like dark skin, and I have a problem with that.
Okay. So how important is it to you that parents, you know, that the dolls that these children get in their hands are in their likeness?
So one of the main aspects is skin tone. The other is hair texture. Those are my main focuses, and all other things are secondary, but my main focus is that, because we have allowed too many non-black, non-people of color dictate what the standard of beauty is.
Mm-hmm.
That's a problem. Pale skin is revered. Flowing long hair is revered. And if we really want to get down to it, paler skin, lighter eyes, lighter hair, light is right. This programming that we have is plastered everywhere.
Right.
And it becomes a situation where you don't even realize that you
Right.
and everybody around you that don't meet those qualifications, you are being programmed to feel like there is a sub portion of beauty that you're in because you don't fit that criteria, specifically with children.
Right.
You know, in the classroom, when children are in the pretend play area specifically, they often mimic behaviors that are given to them. They mimic ideas that they're given, as they grow and develop. And we know scientifically, it's a fact that you learn more in the first 2 years of your life.
And it's and I talked about this last week too. By 5 years old, about 90% of the brain is already developed. So the ideas and it's already molded and shaped. So
you've learned more in that time frame than you'll ever learn in your whole life.
Right.
You're making connections. When we talk about socializing and the aspect of children and early childhood development and even sociology, a lot of times people think it's talking. Socialization is not just having a conversation. Socialization is learning behaviors that are acceptable, unacceptable behaviors. There are connections being made between the child and the world where they're understanding how to behave, how to respond, how to talk. And one of the things we always say as teachers, use your inside voice, right? That's a perfect example. Like, children don't often know these things. They're not born knowing these things. So everything that they're looking at, everything that they're seeing, everything they're exposed to becomes a memory and the criteria for them to proceed.
Right. So one of the things last week that I talked about was the positive of the power of imagery with young children, and I had talked about even my journey into becoming natural and how it was influenced by my children, my sons in particular, because I didn't have my daughter at that time when I decided to go natural. But I was talking about the fact that my children at that time, specifically my oldest son, was exposed to a lot of not black children, so children from many different backgrounds, but he went to school where he was one or two of, other black children, black and brown children. And so there came a time in our lives that he didn't like his own hair. And so I had relaxed hair, and so I wound up cutting all my relaxed hair off so that my hair was at the length of his hair. And then I allowed it to just grow naturally. And actually, Janae was one of my inspirations for it because she had gone natural many years before that and cut all of her hair off. And I had never been brave enough to do that because it wasn't the images that I saw around me. Funny enough, in our family, I did. But it goes to show you that, once you get to my age and grown-up age, you're not necessarily looking at what's inside of your family as what influences you to move forward, right? So when I was younger, so between the ages of 1 through 5, or birth to 5, my mother's hair was not natural. It is now, but birth to 5, I heard things like, ooh, we need to do something with your hair. We got to fix this up or whatever. You know what I mean? And so those things stick with you and they shape what you end up doing. My mother became natural when I was probably 15 or 16.
But she was always weird with hair anyway. Like, she did everything. Every single thing you could think of, she was just, whatever was cool, she had it.
This is true. And so, for me, I didn't have anyone in my immediate family, birth to 5, that said, this is how, that to embrace this as it naturally grows out of your head. That wasn't what it was, because even in my mother's changing up constantly, she would relax it and cut it and color it and whatever.
Weave every now and then.
Right, which is totally up to her.
Yeah. And she did it just because she's a free spirit.
Right.
She's one of those people that just goes.
Right. So it's one of those things where now that we have our daughter, I love that I'm natural to be able to show her without like beating her over the head with, oh, we're not relaxing your hair and we're not doing that. I'm not even going to do all of that. I'm not wasting time with that. I'm not putting in energy to that. It's what she just sees. Between birth to 5, it's what she sees. And she embraces her hair. She tells me, oh, I want it in twists today, and I want it in braids today, and I want it, wear it out like this today. She embraces it all, which leads me to some of Janae or Aniqua's my kind of thing stuff that I want to talk about. She doesn't have any of her dolls here with us.
I don't.
But she does have another product or another thing that I want to share.
One of the things that we're going to be doing later on today, and I'm going to actually do a film it. I have a calendar, and I've had this calendar. It's been available since November last year, the My Kind of Thing calendar. And what I did was I sat down with an illustrator who is amazing, by the way.
Yes, she is.
And I had her do illustrations, a different illustration for each month of the year, featuring some of my favorite designs. I have a lot of favorite designs. And so through those designs, we compiled this awesome calendar. And I've been holding her daughter's calendar hostage because I legit didn't want to give it to her until I could sit down and have a conversation with her, because her 4-year-old is actually very verbal. I don't know how many of you have 4-year-olds or are aware of 4-year-olds. Some are very, very vocal, and she's vocal because of who her mom and her dad is and who her family is. She's really vocal. So that's one of the reasons why I held her calendar hostage, because I'm like, nah, I need to have a conversation because I need to know or see what she thinks. And this is the same conversation that I had with my book ahead. Some of y'all might be familiar with Book Ahead. That's my niece.
So my viewers are probably like, what?
So I don't call none of the kids by their name.
None of the children in our family get called by their names at all. They get names that were given to them probably a little after birth, and it's stuck with them. And so that's what it is.
And I think that's common, right? For people, right?
It's so common.
Like,
and even though I would say that in our family, our kids have a very unique, but they have a very unique set of names. I don't know if other families get as unique as ours.
Yeah.
And so I do have to ask you, what inspired you to do calendars?
So one of the reasons why was because I did want to have something that they can see. I remember, you remember the things that hung on our walls, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the thing. Like I'm sure that there is an image that was on your mom, because I can even think of an image that your mom used to have on her wall. I can also think of the image. My mother and father didn't have wall space all the time because they had bookcases a lot.
Right.
But I remember specific drawings or small artwork that would be visible every day. Wall calendar. I wanted it to be a wall calendar because for a whole year at least, I want them to be able to see that. But even more so, I wanted the images to be so bright and vibrant that even after the month ends, you can actually take it out and put it in a frame. And so that's the main reason for a calendar, making sure that, these images are reflective of who they are and who they, just things that they can see and be like, oh, that's me.
Right.
Or that looks like me, or she looks like me. And so that's why a calendar initially.
Yep.
At first, because you already know some of these images, and for those of you who have the calendar already, y'all understand the significance and the vibrance of these images. Once the year is over, there's no way you'll want to get rid of the calendar even though the year is over. Absolutely. Because the illustrations are that real and that important. Like this, the cover is even the color project.
Yeah.
And that particular project, that particular group of dolls was significant.
Yeah. So for every picture that's in her calendar, she's created the actual doll.
Yeah, they were dolls.
They were dolls before they were images.
What's so cool is when people say stuff like, "Oh, what cartoon is that from?" I'm like, "It ain't a cartoon yet."
Right? Not yet. Put it out there. Put it out there.
But the importance of positive imagery, just being able to see yourself and those things that you deem valuable, and those things that you deem beautiful. If my only understanding of beautiful is blonde hair, blue eyes, and pale skin, that automatically means that I am not as beautiful. And the world's standard of beauty and the understanding of what is acceptable beauty, what is valuable, what makes you, just important. Those things, we have to teach them these things, and the programming has to be done by you first.
Right.
One of the things that I will say is, like we talk about this a lot, we've talked about this a lot amongst ourselves, how we feel about ourselves in respect to the world, where she can say that I wasn't brave enough to cut my hair at the time, because I felt like this wasn't necessarily something that I associated with beauty.
Right.
Short hair, kinky hair, not straight. I said at 18, F this, I don't want no combs.
She
no
certainly
more.
did.
Like,
She was just like, I'm done with combs.
It wasn't even like no deep nothing. I was just like, I hate getting my hair combed. I hate having to get a perm. And the fact that I felt like I had to get one had me annoyed, because it really made me like, why I gotta get one? Well, if you don't get one, you gonna be out here looking crazy, because your hair gonna be nappy. You're gonna be in these streets and people gonna be looking at you.
No, but right.
Like really, and to be
she broke outside of the box before many people broke outside the box.
I was 18. I remember when I came in to play basketball, fresh out of getting my hair cut completely off. I came to play basketball, and I remember, some of my, the people I was playing with, some of the people in the stands that kind of knew me was like, and the things that were associated with, having locks for me it was a whole nother thing. Like, for a long time, there was a certain understanding, like, oh, you must be this because your hair is locked. And, we want to be brave enough. We want to give our children the tools to say, I love this about me. Even if you don't love that about me, it doesn't matter that you don't love this about me.
Right.
My mom told me that I need to be proud of who I am because I'm her child. My mother used to say, can I tell you, I had a mother who would say to me whenever I struggled with things, you my child.
Right.
So I'm gonna need you to suck it up.
Right.
And sometimes it was harsh, but it worked.
Right. No. And I think that even further, I feel like if our children have it ingrained in them to be so just proud and just respect their own beauty and their own, here it is, they won't even need to say, oh, this is what I am, I don't even care what you are or whatever, I don't care, right, I don't even care what you think about me. Even a step further, that when you are just realizing that you are you and this is how you have to move, you don't even pay attention, right? It's so tunnel vision to just realize that this is what I'm going for, this is what I'm doing.
My kind of thing, boom on them.
Right.
She laughs because she was there when I was given the name, my kind of thing. Remember we was at
I know.
She was like, because I kept saying, that's not really my thing. I don't really do that.
Yep.
That's not, I'm not interested.
Yep.
But that certainty, that understanding that, and here's the reality of it. We're the ones who are supposed to cultivate that.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't have any babies, but I got babies. You know what I'm saying? Like, her children are my children. Right. My nieces and nephews are my children. They've been my children, like, forever. And so one of the things that I think is always important from a parenting aspect, and I'm sure you'll agree, is cultivating those things that your child finds interesting and those things that are positive that your child finds interesting. Also being able to maneuver those things that may not necessarily be positive and channel them into something that is beneficial and useful to them and the world. Perspective is huge. Perspective is huge.
Yep.
You do not know, you never know who you're influencing. You never know who needs to hear it, who needs to see it, who needs to understand this.
Right.
So one of the things that I think our parents did a really good job of is being examples of women who just are. My mother, one day I'm gonna be brave enough to put her on a live.
So I've been trying to, okay, hold on. Now I'm gonna put this out there to everybody, okay? It's been in my heart. It's been in my heart to bring my mother on, but there's a part of me that is really scared because I don't know.
Say something.
I don't know
She
what
gonna
she's
look like something.
And if I'm nervous, then you got every right to be nervous.
Cause look. And so her mom, I think her mother, I be like, yo, she's extra, but she's a safe extra. My mother, she's not a safe extra. She the kind of extra that, she got this look where you won't realize who she is until she speaks. You'll have no clue. So we gotta be brave.
We gonna have
at the same time.
Hold on, that's a little bit too much for the screen. That's a lot. That's a lot. I will bring mine on one day. You gonna bring yours?
Her mother is light to me. Maybe we should switch, because maybe it'll tone it down. Like you want to bring my mother on? I bring my mother on, because I think mommy's a little bit less with you. She don't see me, she be like, whatever. Like she'll get loose to a point where it's like, nah.
Someone said, I'm sure they'll keep it 100. They will. They will. We gonna have to work this out. That'll have to come, because I need to have my mother speak. I feel like, I want her to talk a little bit about where I came from.
But real talk, we have great mothers though.
Right.
Like that's the in the nutshell now.
Right.
Everybody don't understand everything, and everybody and everything ain't for everybody.
Right. This is true.
So, but I will say this: we are proof that we had good moms. Like I'm not even gonna. Can I just say, you can pat yourself on the back. It's all right to say you awesome. It's all right to know these things about you, because that's part of what we have to cultivate early. There are positive and wonderful and amazing things about you, and once you recognize them and you're able to speak them freely, other people see it and they say they agree. Only person that would disagree is a hater, and we don't like them either.
It's so true.
But
it's so true.
Definitely follow, because if you have small children in your life, if you have children in your life, and sometimes these things don't just apply to children, they apply to us as adults. Opportunity for us to check how we think, not just about ourselves, but how we interact with other people, and whether or not we can just understand who we are.
Absolutely.
Without being tainted by society's falsehoods. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying. But thank y'all again for joining.
Thank you.
And we
see you next Sunday.
Definitely see you. Y'all know y'all see me sometime this week or something, and I'll announce other things, because I got a little surprise for some of my people. What's that right there? What's that? That's a coloring page, because it just got real.
That's so crazy. Thank you so much. I will see you next Sunday. Tune in. And as always, if you have any questions, parenting questions, early childhood topic questions, you can hit me up on an email. I'm at earlychildhood@sweetpeame.com. earlychildhood@sweetpeame.com. And I will post that in below somewhere on YouTube. Everywhere. Yes, so everywhere.
So you don't miss nothing.
All right. Take care, y'all. Have a good one. Bye.